Welcome to this video on finding journal articles. I'm going to give you an overview of Discover and Google Scholar. We're going to look in two places to find journal articles because they both have different strengths. Humber Libraries Discover search is great because you know if you find an article there, you can get immediate access to it through our online system. And it's very easy to filter for things like peer-reviewed journal articles and for case studies. We're also going to look in Google Scholar. Google Scholar has an unmatched search algorithm. Nobody searches better than Google. And its Cited By feature can help indicate the popularity of an article. And it is also possible to integrate it with Humber Libraries so that you know when you see the articles in your Google Scholar results if Humber has them. Let's begin with Discover. So this is the Humber Libraries Discover search. It's just part of our home page. There's the Discover box there, and that's where I can type in the keywords for the concept that I'm interested in searching. In this video, I'm going to show you how I build up a search, how I actually take it too far with too many keywords, and then how I scale it back down. The concept I'm going to search for is employee engagement. After typing in my keywords, I'm going to press Find. Once the results load, I can take a look at some of the features of the search results. For example, I can see that my very first search result is actually for an ebook. And probably for this assignment or for many assignments, it would be quite difficult to read a whole book in advance of the assignment, although some chapters might be useful. What I'd like to do first is make sure that the results are all set to view online. I can add peer review if I want, but to begin with, I'm just going to limit my search results to journal articles. Okay, so now I can see some articles that actually look quite good. For example, the second one here, Job Burnout and Employee Engagement, and it's from the Journal of Management, so probably a very good journal to look at. But chances are you might be interested in adding more context to what you're looking for. So employee engagement, where, right? At what kind of organization, and also where in the world, right? Employee engagement might look different across different cultures, and they might think about it differently. So let's try to explore both those features. So I'm going to leave everything as it is, and I'm going to go back up to the search bar, and I'm going to add in my case, maybe I want to look at employee engagement in libraries. So I've typed in libraries, and now I'm going to press search. The second article, the impact of intrinsic and extrinsic motivators on employee engagement in information organizations. All right, so if I'm interested in the second article here, I want to view it, I can click on the title, and it takes me straight to the article. If I want to download this article to save it for later, because maybe I'm collecting a few articles, I can download it as a PDF from the menu up here. I can also generate an APA citation for it, or email it to myself as well. Back at our search results, I had that feature of maybe wanting to know, can I find something on employee engagement in Canadian libraries? So I'm going to add the word Canada now to the top of the search, and then search again. Okay, when I do this though, it's almost like my search results kind of change. It's like I've added one too many concepts to my search, one too many keywords, and now the search algorithm isn't quite sure what to find for me because it can't find exactly what I'm looking for. Sometimes when this happens to me, I think, well, I did find employee engagement in libraries. Now I'm actually going to remove the libraries piece and maybe just keep the Canada piece to see if I can find something there. I'm going to check out this first one from the Journal of Leadership and Organizational Studies, Employee Engagement and Well-Being, a Moderation Model and Implications for Practice. And this is what this article looks like. Once again, if I want to download it to a PDF, I can save it to my computer to read over more carefully later. After skimming the abstract, this does look like a good article for me. And if I want to generate a citation, I can also do that here to help me in making sure that I'm citing my work. Okay, so that's finding journal articles in Discover. One of the other really cool features in Discover is if I want to find maybe a case study on employee engagement in Canada. All right, so I'm going to remove the journal article filter because it would probably make my search results too small. And I'm actually going to reverse this newspaper article. It's crossed out under content type here. Newspaper articles has been crossed out. I'm going to click it to remove that so that now these newspaper articles are included in my search. And I'm going to use a different feature. I'm going to scroll down to where it says subject terms, and I'm going to click on more. And a list of optional subject terms that will filter my results are available. The one you might want to look for is called case studies. If I click that and then click the apply button, it's going to filter my results and only keep the case studies active. Maybe I'm going to go with the second one, participation in decision making, a case study of job satisfaction and commitment, right? Because it's not about volunteers, it's about employees. So I'm going to go with that one. Okay, and when I look at the abstract here, I can see that this case study takes place in the province of Quebec. So that's perfect. It covers the topic I'm interested in, and it is located in Canada. So this would be a good article, certainly for me to find on my first try. This is a very good start. If you're running your search in Discover and you're having a hard time finding what you're looking for, one of the features you can always use is our online chat service located in the sort of right-hand side of the screen under online chat. If I click on the askON button, it opens a live chat with a library researcher who's available to help you through this searching process so that you can find what you need. That's it for a quick overview of searching in Discover. Now let's take a look in Google Scholar. Well, this is Google Scholar. If you've only been searching Google while you've been in school, you've been missing out because Google Scholar is an excellent place to run the exact same searches we just ran in Discover. So once again, I can start with my key concept, employee engagement, and I actually get a different set of search results. One of the things that is different about Google Scholar is that it doesn't provide filters for me for journal articles or peer-reviewed, or even the difference between books and maybe consultant papers. These are all lumped together in here, so you have to be a bit better at being able to identify what a journal article is. However, some of the other features of it are excellent. For example, the second article here, Antecedents and Consequences of Employee Engagement, one of the features is that I can see that this has been cited by 5,350 other research papers. So this is clearly a very important paper in the field of employee engagement, which means that if I'm writing a paper about employee engagement, it would be nice to actually read this paper first, seeing as maybe it laid a lot of the groundwork for what has come. It may be a defining paper in this field. However, I don't see any links. I see some links to academia and to ResearchGate, but I want to see a link to Humber Libraries. There's a way to do that. What I'm going to do is click on the menu, the three little bars, and if you're logged into your Google account while you do this, it will remember for you. So I'm going to access the menu up here at the top, and then I'm going to click on Settings. Then I'm going to click on Library Links, and then there's a search box where we can search for Humber. And what comes up is the Humber River Hospital and Humber Libraries. So I'm going to put a little check mark in Humber Libraries and then click Save. Now I can see that before, where there was no link to Humber, one appears. So if I want to read this article, I just have to click it, and it directly takes me in through Humber's Access. Once again, I can save as a PDF, cite it, or email it to myself. Okay, so we can see the results look different, and now that I have access to Humber, that's good as well. I can try running that same search again, so I can add in libraries, and I actually get different results, but some are similar. You can see the very top paper here exactly matches the very first paper I had in my search in Discover, but the second article here on employee onboarding and identifying best practices, that's an interesting one, and same as the third one, very applicable. All right, so it's actually good for me to look in two places when I'm doing my research. One thing I don't get here are those filters on the left-hand side. So I can't filter for peer review. I can't filter for case studies the way I could in the other database. So although the search algorithm here is quite powerful and quite good, it doesn't provide you with the same set of filtering criteria. So that's using Google Scholar to do your research. Okay, so in summary, we looked at Discover and we looked at its strengths like immediate access to the articles and how easy it is to filter for things like peer review and case studies. But we also looked at Google Scholar because it's another great place to look that's going to find different results. The Cited By feature is very helpful for knowing how popular articles are, and I showed you how to integrate it with Humber Libraries. That's it for this video on finding journal articles, an overview of Discover and Google Scholar.